Okay, welcome to my channel. I am Veteran Reacts, and let's talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 6, the finale. I thought it was a really awesome show. Uh, all the series and all, I'd say I give it a B plus. The finale, maybe a B minus, C plus. One thing I really enjoyed the overall storyline. And the production as far as the special effects, especially when you had Sam flying through the canyons. That was pretty cool. His interaction with the Air Force guy. I think his was it the actor Danny Ramirez. I thought that was awesome, and setting up that plot line where he's going to become the new Falcon as Anthony Mackie moves into the mantle of Captain America. Will he get his own movie, or will he be part of a superhero team up? I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see what the future holds in regards to that. Um, Now let's talk about the final episode. The final episode, in my opinion, was a little convoluted. Um, Now, the idea of gender flipping the Flag Smasher leader into Carly Morgenthau, and then actually making it a group versus one villain from the comics. I mean, that makes sense because everything in comics doesn't necessarily translate to the movie screen or the TV screen necessarily. I mean, it's comics. However, uh, it just seemed like there was something missing with the storyline. And, there was rumors out there about them having to take out specific content that was related to the pandemic that we're dealing with right now. So I understand, it's a very sensitive time, and people should be aware of that. However, I think that when you do that, you take away from the artistic value when you always kind of like change things because of how hard the times are. Where you could have just easily added a disclaimer and people would have understood, hey, this is art. It was made before the pandemic, and it's part of the storyline. Um, So going into that last episode, I was like, wow, this is going to be pretty cool. I really would have liked to seen, where the Falcon opens up, that the box from the Wakandans, and at least test out the equipment, because it just doesn't. We get that shot where he's flying into New York City. I mean, can he fly from Louisiana to New York City, or did he catch a plane there? I mean, this doesn't make any sense. And then you have, he have time to test out all of that equipment, just within a few hours of, them going on with this whole terrorist plot to attack the GRC leaders in New York City. It just seemed like a little rushed, in my opinion, as far as them trying to close out the series, where I felt it would have been better served if they had made the finale 2 hours, or at least added another episode to kind of really wrap the story up properly. Um, when you add in the Wyatt Russell of the our U.S. agent, I like the fact that he kind of had a redemption moment. However, I still think that the redemption moment came a little too soon. I would have liked to see him, more as far as, divulge into his darker side as U.S. agent before we saw some redemption qualities as far as how he could, help other people. So, you have the good and you have the bad there. And I guess when you had the fight scene in episode 5 between the Falcon and the Winter Soldier against Wyatt Russell's Captain America, uh, that kind of took away from them having another fight scene in the finale. So they had to transition the fight scene towards the Flag Smashers and um, the Georgia St. Pierre character. So it just, I don't know, it just seemed like there was a little bit of a miss there. There was a little bit of a miss, in my opinion, with the fight scene with Anthony Mackie and Georgia St. Pierre. It just didn't seem like it was long enough, or it didn't come to a conclusion. It was kind of like he was fighting them for a while, and he's like, well, I'm done with this. I got to go, take care of something more important. See ya. He just kind of left them there. So, I mean, that was kind of dumb. And which also leads into the whole shooting of Carly Morgenthau by Emily Van Camp, who played Sharon Carter. Her being exposed as, the power broker. This was one of my, it was obvious. It seemed like they were leading up to it, but it just didn't make sense. Why would she in previous episode, tell, Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie where the scientist is that can help her continue making the superhero serum, which could possibly, end that guy's life. And then who was she shooting? Who was she having a shootout with? In the container yard. If she's the power broker, it just, and if she's a power broker, wouldn't she have 20 armed men at her side? It just, I don't know. It just didn't add up. And then when you add her as the power broker at the end, where she's going to be passing CIA secrets, and who was she calling? Was she calling her friend, that lady who picked her up earlier? I mean, what was that? It just didn't add up. I mean, it seemed rushed. It seemed like, oh, hey, we're gonna make Sharon Carter as the power broker because it's a woman and we want to, change things up from the comics. But, if you go back and look at the comics, the power broker was several characters, and, I guess you could say that it just doesn't, I don't know, it just didn't vibe, and it didn't feel, like it meshed well with the story or future stories. I can't see how Sharon Carter goes and plays this mean anti-America or just anti-establishment after being so establishment in every other movie that she made. So that one I'd say was a miss. Now the story with the Isaiah Bradley and how he was treated, I thought that was great. I mean, the way that was developed during the show, how he was treated by the American government, really mirrored the Tuskegee experiments, and then how he discussed the plight of World War II soldiers, who were disrespected when they came back from war. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then the final scene where Sam took him to the Smithsonian, I thought that was awesome as well, showing that he was finally given some recognition. Now, what I would have liked is the speech that Sam gave in downtown after he helped save the day. If he had gave that at a press conference and unveiling the whole statue and the remembrance of Isaiah Bradley, I thought that would have been a great place for that speech that he gave. It just didn't seem like the speech he gave to the politicians was very realistic. When you have politicians, they don't really care about, your speech, because everybody has their own agendas. So, I mean, that would be kind of like in one ear and out the other. Or when it's regards to safety is concerned, people aren't really going to be standing around, as someone's giving a speech after all that craziness that's going around. Just the same way with, the bystanders who were kind of like watching Falcon do his thing. It just you see the other Marvel movies when the guys are fighting bad guys. Most of the people are trying to get out of Dodge. They're like, oh, this is crazy. We got to get out of here. Where you have these people, they got their cell phones out recording, cheering on the Falcon. Like, yeah, come on, Falcon, do your thing. I mean, Captain America, this is great. I mean, come on, you got to add a little bit of realism. I mean, most people, when they see danger or fear, they're not going to be hanging around to videotape it. But I guess maybe that might play into our culture now, where things are, uh, people see danger or some type of crazy event, and everybody wants to pull out their cameras or cell phones and film it. So I guess, you can take that aspect of it. Overall, I'd say it was a good series. Uh, the lead into other shows or movies, I don't know. I just really was not a fan of the whole um, Sharon Carter as the power broker. I was not a fan of Carly Morgenthau, and then killing her off so easily. And then at the same time, I wasn't really a big fan of how the Falcon was so sympathetic of a person who had just blew up soldiers in previous episode. She killed one guy by punching him in the chest and collapsing his heart. And then before that, she blew up innocent soldiers in a building. But then you still had the Falcon so sympathetic to her. It just seemed disingenuous. So you gotta put some reality into this. I mean, you have somebody who's killing innocent people. I don't see how you're gonna be so sympathetic to them so quickly. I mean, that's something that kind of happens over time. So, just my 2 cents on the show. Overall, like I said, a good show. I can't wait for some of the other Marvel projects to come out. Especially the Loki series, and looking forward to the Black Widow movie coming out. So hopefully there's more to come, and looking for a little bit more of a pop, a little more of a zing when it comes to the end credits. I think the trademark or hallmark of some of the previous Marvel movies was, man, when that end credit started, it was always something so interesting to make you go ooh ah and think about what's to come. And with the Marvel Disney Plus series shows, their end credits for Wanda Vision and now the Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'd say the end credits were kind of a little flat, a little disappointing. But I'm optimistic. I love Marvel comics and Marvel movies ever since I was a kid. So this is Veteran Reacts. I'm signing off, and hopefully you guys will like and subscribe and enjoy my content. And I will, post more shows out here for you guys. So have a great night.